I'm here to talk about the importance of emergency assistance and funding for emergency assistance. The budget, as currently proposed, cuts emergency assistance funding by $3 million, which I understand is a 20% cut of emergency assistance. Emergency assistance is one of the only resources available to low-income families to prevent homelessness or get rehoused once homeless, and it's critical to the families that I represent. I'm a housing lawyer, and I represent low-income folks in housing cases in 9 southern counties in Wisconsin. I'm the only full-time person doing that work. So every week I've been talking to families who, through no fault of their own, maybe it's because of a critical illness that resulted in a job loss and a temporary gap in employment, they're able to apply for emergency assistance to help them pay rent that 1 month. And usually they're pairing it with a couple other sources of funding, whether that's county funding or nonprofit funding or churches. They're often putting those packages together to bridge that gap in income. And this particular woman, she had bridged that gap in January and then got a job in February and was able to make payments going forward. But without that emergency assistance, she would have lost her housing. Talked with another woman in Sauk County, Allison, last week who her family was displaced because she had raw sewage coming into her basement. The landlord would not respond, even after public health intervened. Finally, the landlord cleaned up the sewage, but didn't want to address the mold, and really just wanted the family to get all their stuff out of there. So she's able to apply for emergency assistance to get into other housing. In order to move, you need to come up with first month's rent, security deposit, and when you're barely getting by and you're relying on food share and working a $9 an hour job, some unforeseen circumstances comes up and you are facing that homelessness and you don't have that savings set aside to deal with an emergency situation like that. So, without that $516, which isn't even really enough to cover 1 month's rent, but when you can put that $516 and combine it with maybe a little bit of savings you have and some church funding, some nonprofit resources, you can bridge that gap. And I really fear that if this funding is cut, it's going to mean an increase in family homelessness because we know, there's just a huge demand for the resources that exist right now.